All right, so clean up the conversation.
Right, this stuff you're going to
All
hear.
right, we're in the green room, ready to get on set.
We're on set.
Makeup? Coffee?
No, you can't make this stuff up.
No, you will not be able to make this up today.
All right, we're going to be going live here in about 20 seconds.
I'm going to turn the open switch on.
Are we open? Yeah. There we go. All right, let's see what we can do here, fellas.
I'm getting more and more sponsors, huh?
Welcome to Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. This is a show designed to help people with financial literacy, but not the way you have known. It's not your grandpa's financial literacy, as Bill uses his 30 plus years in the financial industry to stretch your financial box from, about a 30,000 foot view of things. Bill and his guests have helped hundreds of clients achieve and surpass their financial goals. If you have questions, email Bill at billhasse.com. That's BILLHAASE.com. Or reach out to him at 216thenet@gmail.com and just put Innovative Strategies right in the subject line. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channels, Bill's as well, and like and follow on Facebook and all other social media platforms, and check out billhasse.com. Today, rants, raves, and random thoughts, all right here.
Raves.
Good
That's a
morning.
nice addition to that. Yeah, random thoughts and rants. Man, oh man. The things are
Take a breath, Bill.
things are getting thick out there. Yeah, my guest couldn't join us today due to COVID.
So I'm second choice.
So we're your second
I'm
choice.
feeling
It's your
the
second
effects.
week in a row too.
Oh, that's true.
So
Pinch
you
hitting.
know, I have not had any guests on twice in a row. So
I keep chasing
thank
them
you
away.
for coming, and
I call them up ahead of time and say,
kind of like cutting
hey,
partners.
Bill's
I know.
not having the show tomorrow. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I just thought let's get into some random thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about what I see going forward with the show and what I think we're looking to do a little bit.
And then we have got some questions from some
direction.
listeners too that we've
we'd
that
love to
we've,
get some questions.
amassed
This
here.
is open mic night. Let's talk about some wild things here. So we'll talk about numbers. CPI came out today telling us that 2021 the CPI was at 7%. For those of you, CPI is Consumer Price Index. It is the indicator of the what's the word I'm thinking of? Inflation.
Yeah.
So and if you think 7% is the real number, which is the highest number since 1982, by the way, but if you think that's a real number, you're probably still in a dream. You're probably still sleeping.
Are you thinking it's too high or too low?
Well, let me tell you something. So I got an email yesterday from Nicor Gas.
Mhm.
Said, Nicor Gas, why is my bill so high? Now, why would a company send an email out to you when you haven't reached out to them at all? And admitting to the fact that, you just got shocked by your last Nicor bill. And they're saying, why is it so high? Because we know Nicor can't add to the cost of the natural gas that they put out there. All right.
Right.
It has to be passed along at whatever rate they're paying. But the charges come in the delivery charges.
Yeah.
Now, why would delivery charges change? If your infrastructure is already in place, it's already being delivered, what are those costs associated that you can jack us up as much as 100%? Now, they might argue it's 48.5%, but
Right.
the reality is we're getting close to 100%. ComEd, 33 to 38%.
Well, ComEd has the smart meters now.
Oh, yeah. They're very smart.
Yeah.
They jack your rates up.
So now
All by themselves.
now
All
they
by
just
them-
now
they
they
don't
just
need a-
now
they
they
don't
just
need a
drive
person.
by and Bluetooth you. Boop, 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 boop.
Right.
They drive by and Bluetooth you, and then you kind of are now on an average.
Yeah.
Good morning, Sally.
So it's and and all of these things, prices. I mean, go to the grocery store. We were just talking about this before the show. There's the shelves are starting to look a little thin, and this is countrywide. This is not just locally here. This is everywhere, and all kinds of things. My wife and I are trying to plan meals and go shopping, and it's like, okay, but we love to cook and we do a lot of cooking and stuff, and there's a lot of product out there we can't find for our normal dishes that we like to make.
Well, our good friend Lana Hartgraves, who's our master psychic here on 21.6 The Net and has metaphysical meanderings at 11:30 a.m. on Sundays, she predicted the food shortage back last year. She said, hey, watch the shelves toward the end of the year, going to be empty.
Smart gal.
Yeah.
Smart gal.
Bill, I gave a psychic a shoulder rub one time. It was the last happy medium I ever saw.
Do we have a drum set?
set?
Do we have a drum set here?
It's interesting. There are there's a lot of garbage going on out there, and it's easy to see. But there's a lot of good things going on as well. Maybe this is an opportunity for us to manage our diet a little bit better and start getting control of the food that we do intake.
Well, I'm full of a little piss and vinegar today. I'm not looking for the good side of things.
I noticed, but I'm here to offset you a little bit.
You're trying to be that medium?
Well, let's talk about that though. I mean,
Sally, thanks for listening in.
Yes,
there's a lot of yuck out there. Absolutely. She says start a garden.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of yuck out there and
hard to grow in the wintertime.
And
vertical farming.
Innovative strategies and what Bill does is he doesn't candy coat. You can't in the position you're in, the show you have, and the industry that you're in. You can't ignore or set to the side things. But at the same time, we were in the green room talking that last year, how many millions of new businesses?
So 2021, started? There was 1.4 million new businesses started.
Right.
All right. So, we can talk about the great resignation, the great walkout, whatever you want to call it. And especially in September, over 4.3 million people walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are folks in quality positions.
Yeah.
Are walking out after reflecting on the quality of life that they're having. And they're saying, you know what? I want to have more control.
Yeah.
And there's things I want to do. And there's things I can do. And there's talents and gifts that I have that I want to bring to other people out there. And God bless you for doing it. I highly recommend it. I've been this way all but 4 years of my life, professional life, I've worked for myself.
But Bill, I think there's a problem there as well, because the entrepreneur spirit doesn't exist simply because you decided to walk away from a business. You've been in that business. You've been an employee for so long. And you think, okay, I'm going to start a business.
Well, not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be
1.4 million think that they are.
Yeah, but you had 4.3 million people walk out in 1 month.
Right.
So, not everybody is built to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is built to create a business and make it succeed. Many will. They say it's not hard to start a business. It's hard to make one successful.
Right.
And one of the faults that people have in starting a business are they have to wear a lot of hats, and they're not used to wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And instead of seeking proper support and help outside of your circle, or bringing somebody into your circle that can help you out, you're gonna have a really rough go of it. And are you gonna succeed or fail? Oh boy, it's gonna be a hard road.
Well, and so what I have found over my 52 plus years on this blue marble is I'm a good intrapreneur. In other words, I don't like to set the rules and guidelines, but if I have rules and guidelines, I can be very, very creative inside those restraints, right? So in other words, as an employee, if you give me some freedom, then I do very, very well, right? So if it's a creative space, where I'm at now is a great, for instance, building, a department for this company. It's not my company, and I report to the CEO, but I can get as creative and crazy as I possibly can to do this. So some people are better employees. Some might be better intrapreneurs than entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. There's all kinds.
Yeah.
You're right. So there are many people who are happy being employees,
Yeah.
being told what to do, and then being allowed to do that job maybe in the manner they feel is best, as opposed to being told exactly how to do it. And then you ask why, and it's like, you don't need to know why.
Yeah.
Just do what I tell you to do. Wrong. Poor leadership. That's another subject.
Right.
Good management, but poor leadership.
But you're right. You bring to the table, and you know what your gifts are. You know what you can do, what you're comfortable with, what you love doing. I had a wonderful conversation with another advisor earlier this week, and it was very interesting. After like 23 years, he decided to partner up with another advisor in his office who had been there 19 years, and they kind of struck off on their own and started their own business. And he was telling me, he goes, and the reason why I did it, he goes, I love the chase. I love to go out and find the clients, and I love to have those conversations with the people, but I hate putting together the plan.
Yeah.
I hate, and then, I don't mind presenting it, but I just hate that the dirty work of having to get into the system and having to run the numbers and having to grind, where you can provide your client the best opportunities going forward. And I thought that was really, eye-opening to me, because this guy understood that, and he partnered with somebody who loves to do that. So he's got a good team right there. And I kind of have a team where we're much the same way. We have expertise in different areas, and I that was impressive to me. If entrepreneurs or people who want to start businesses, does not mean you're an entrepreneur just yet, but if you're bringing the right people along with you, you have a much greater chance of success.
So a couple things. Sally says, I did that very thing. I walked away voluntarily from my 16-year corporate, probably Fortune 500, if not Fortune 100 company 2 years ago. Left my 6-figure salary to join her husband, Tim, at Santos Agency Health Markets. And helping run a business in an area that she's a brilliant trainer and corporate trainer, and she's just brilliant. Jumped into the insurance space with health markets, and her husband, not knowing, not being a professional or being, that wasn't her lane, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
And now they're very, very successful. She says, best thing I ever did. I've helped grow our business literally 314% in the 2 years that they've been doing it. That's impressive.
I'm always I'm impressed with Sally and Tim and what they do at their shop, and I will use them as needed if I need to go into that area, the health markets and whatnot, because they're so good at it. And I'm looking forward, Sally, to have the privilege and pleasure of meeting you 2 weeks from today.
And keep in mind, open enrollment goes until Saturday, so folks, reach out to the Santos.
Yeah, this is it. This is last week.
Little shout out for you there, Sally.
Yeah, this is the last week. Here's another thing in life, that get out there, know what's going on. We get so distracted. In Chicagoland, we're distracted by the dumbest thing. CPS versus CTUs, Chicago Public Schools versus Chicago Teachers Union, and a battle, and the mayor's trying to get in there and proving how what lack of leadership skills she has, and then coming down with COVID herself. But because it's interesting, let's shoot off a little different angle here. So I was thinking about that. It's with masks only, being 20% effective with a cloth mask, and I think, Coach, you were saying, what was it for?
Well, I said it
paper
beats
mask?
the 15% for paper masks, but the truth is 97% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So who knows what's real with any of this?
Hey, and we don't have Facebook fact checkers here today, so
well, Sally can let us know.
But here's what I want to bring up, because this is something that I've been looking at, and Bill, you're all about innovative strategies, small business. I mean, you're incredible. It seems to me that the people who jump into an entrepreneurial spot are more successful if they change their lane. So in other words, let's say that I'm a plumber, and I'm a good plumber, and I strike out on my own to be a plumber, I become a work-to-preneur, not an entrepreneur. However, if I'm like Sally, who jumps from lane A over to lane B, now I have to be an entrepreneur is there a thought there, Bill and Tim, that in your careers that you've seen that, yeah, if you're striking out on your own, those 1.4 million,
Yep.
if you jump into something that you weren't, our good friend Steph
Well,
Conley,
it's going to be associated to something that you were, right? So a lot of folks are going to get into that consulting world, right? Whether it's marketing, sales, advertising, web design, all different kinds of areas that they were expertise at in their previous job.
Yeah. What's the success rate, I guess?
Well, it's not that high. It's just not. And we go back to the numbers, and we talked about when we had Amanda Russo on the show, how she pointed out to us, and Francesca Kenny, only about 20% of businesses that go on the market to be sold sell. So if that's your retirement plan, I know you think you're in the 20% bracket. I get it. But
we're all
it might be in that 80% bracket, and you might want to have plan B.
Yeah.
So is Tim or Sally the entrepreneur, or are they both entrepreneurs? I guess you can argue
couplepreneurs.
You can argue it all different kinds of ways, but the reality is what you got is you've got two people that have felt that there's something that they can do, and they can do well, and they can do on their own and create a little bit more freedom in their life.
Tim's background was, restaurant management.
Yeah, now he's in health markets.
Yeah, so these guys, and that's what I mean. I'm looking at the sign behind you for Restoration One, and he was in insurance sales. Joe was in insurance sales, and Carrie was doing something else, and now they've got a very successful Restoration One company. I guess.
Yeah,
franchise.
it doesn't have to be associated with what you've always done. It might be something that you've always wanted to do.
John at Natural Therapy Wellness as well, right? He was a mechanic, I think, or something.
He was a mechanic.
Yeah, and now he got this.
Now he's massaging people instead of cars.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess as we talk about innovative strategies,
are they sponsors?
Well, they're on the wall. As we talk about innovative strategies, I'm taking a look at building wealth and becoming a millionaire, and now there's more millionaires in the world than there ever was. But what this show is about is, do I continue to do the things that I learned from my mom, dad, and grandpa, or will that get me there, or do I have to change lanes maybe and go?
It's an obvious answer for me, right? Because for me, it's changing lanes, because I don't think you can. There are things that were done historically that still work fine. There are basics, right? Have processes and procedures in place.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose an employee, somebody else can step right in, flip the page, and start rolling.
Yeah.
All right. But how many business owners have that? Very few. Simple process.
Right.
Just get these things in place. Simple little things. I would go to Peter when I would have a new business person starting up. I'd do a buy-sell agreement for him.
Sure.
And I would say, when do you plan on starting to bring in employees? Oh, probably within the next month or two. Well, do you have an employee handbook?
Right.
Well, what's that? Well, if you bring an employee in and you do not have an employee handbook in place already, you have no idea the liability you've just created, because that person a month later could get ticked off at you for whatever reason and sue you for whatever reason for employment stuff, and they win automatically.
I tend to kill mine.
They win. Well, you don't let anybody walk away, but what you do is you leave your business open to liability for a lawsuit because you didn't have an employee handbook in place. So you had no rules, regulations, process, procedures, nothing in place.
Right.
Simple little steps. Start a business, get a CPA or an accountant. Yes, they are two different things, but get one of those before you start your business so that you set yourself up properly financially.
Well, but you talk about changing lanes, but really, what percentage of the business is the product or service that you're marketing, right? 90% of what we do is still relationship based. And it doesn't matter if we're in the plumbing industry. One of the old standard jokes, a plumber comes into a doctor's office, fixes his pipes and gives him the bill. And the doctor looks at it and says, I'm a doctor and I don't make this much money. And the plumber says I didn't either when I was a doctor. Right. And it's all about 90% of what we learned from our grandparents. Yes, sir. No, sir. Be kind, courteous. There was a book several years ago, Everything I Needed to Know in Life I Learned in Kindergarten. And if you remember the book, it was a collection of.
I got kicked out of kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't doubt
I went through
that.
it twice.
I did.
I did too. Bill.
Those things carry over no matter what lane you're in. You call it a lane, but that's only the small percentage of who you are, what your business is the product or service you sell.
Well, there's another mistake a business owner makes.
Yeah.
I want to tell the world I've started this business and I want the whole world to know, and all they got to do is know I'm here and they're going to come running.
Yeah. If we build it, they will come.
Right. And
we got to make a movie like that.
But we're trying to make a radio show like that. But
if we broadcast, they will come.
Yeah, but it's so they do think the world will come to them, and then they realize very quickly it's not that easy. And maybe things take off and they go great for a year, and then all of a sudden, boom, it drops off. Salespeople know this very, very well because we have what we call pipelines. We fill a pipeline up, we sell, and then our pipeline's empty. And then we got to go back out and we got to fill that pipeline up. And so
I'm in that section.
2-3 months, we've got nothing going on. And then for 2-3 months, we're trying to fill all the orders. And then and it's a cycle with salespeople. And I don't want to go too deep into that because I can really dive into the problems with sales training in the world. But, but being an entrepreneur, there are steps that you need to take, and you can't know everything.
Yeah.
You need help. You need to be able to reach out to other people. And we talk about this on this show all the time. Reach out to experts, get help. And I've admitted time and again that until I started the show, I was not very good at that.
Yeah.
But in the 6 months that we've been doing this, 7 months, I have met so many amazing people that are so incredibly smart at what they do. I'm a fool for not learning from them, for not reaching out to them.
Well, but we as men have that problem. Especially when we grow to the top.
I don't have that problem. Not anymore.
When we grow to the top, we believe we're the top of the food chain, and we stop asking for help. We think we have all the answers, or the proof is, if you're in your business, you're not an accountant, you're not a bookkeeper, but you try to account, you try to keep your books, and things go down the wrong path. None of us are in this by ourselves. And that's probably the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make. I'm in charge.
Right. Yeah. They love being in charge. I love being the owner, co-founder, founder, president, CEO, CFO, CIO, OOO. Here we go. EIO. And they love it. But here's the thing. So here's a little analogy. What's the difference between a dentist that has one shop and a dentist that has 7 shops?
Dentist that has one shop.
Versus a dentist that has 7 shops.
He has 7 times as many people hate him.
The difference is the dentist who owns 7 shops is a businessman. The dentist who owns 1 shop is a dentist. Okay, that's a mindset that maybe can help people shift a little bit in their mindset. And the reality is would we all love to expand our businesses? Of course we would. But there's the 2 different types of entrepreneurs. There's the one who likes to come in and do this because he's passionate. He or she is passionate about it. And then there's the one who wants to come in just purely because they think they're going to make a boatload of money, and because they have the greatest idea. So we reach out to that whole world and we say, okay, here I am, come get me. This is what I can do for you. And the reality is we need to start. You need to start in a very small lane, in a very small area. All right. And perfect that area and then grow your business. It is much like in the advising world that I'm in. There are so many different avenues you can go down. You need to start with learning one aspect of what a good advisor does, and then grow and become an expert at it, then grow into the next subject and the next subject, because We have all types of insurance products, all types of annuities, all types of long-term care products, tens of thousands, if hundreds of thousands of investment options and opportunities. And that's just for working with, let's say, individuals or couples. Then you can get into the business side. You want to get into the 401ks, buy-sell agreements, key man insurance. Do you need health, dental, disability, life insurance, all that stuff?
So I think the hard part of what you do and what this show does is that we as human beings love to look at the end result. I love looking at Bill Gates and all his money and foundations and say, I can be that guy. I love looking.
If I do exactly what he did,
exactly,
I'll be him.
You recall 10 years ago, 15 years ago, every manager was the next Apple guy that has the turtlenecks and everybody was going to be him. So Deion Sanders, who coaches, I think, South Florida or something, he's a college coach now. If you remember Deion with the Cowboys, just a fantastic football player.
Absolutely.
Now is a Division I college football coach. And
is he up for the Bears?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't qualify as Division I.
So after a loss, some one of the reporters said, "Hey, you come in here, you're Deion, you think you know what you're doing, blah, 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 blah." And he takes a deep breath and he looks at the reporter right in the eye. He says, Bill, what you didn't see were the years after I retired that I spent in the Pop Warner leagues, developing kids, donating my time, buying school supplies for these kids who didn't have anything, making it and grinding. And then you didn't see me in the high school level as a high school coach trying to learn this trade and struggling and again buying school supplies and he just kind of went on and saying, what you see now isn't what I went through, right? So entrepreneurs, millionaires, unless you win the lottery, I think we don't tend to see the minutia, the yuck, the slow growth of a fund. We don't get too excited about the grind, as I would say, if that makes sense. What we see is
not everybody has the opportunity that Deion Sanders has. All right, they don't have the money to buy experience.
That's right.
They have to start from scratch, and I guarantee you, I don't care who you are. If you're starting a business, there will be a time that will come where you are stifled, where you aren't sure what direction to take, and you aren't sure who can help you take that next step. I guarantee you, you'll run into this. But there are folks out there, and I'm fortunate to have this show where I get to meet so many of those people that's what they do.
Yeah.
They help people get to that next level. So if you're struggling with that,
that's awesome.
Reach out to me. I can help. Seriously. And it's my pleasure to do so. Putting good people together is awesome. Watching people grow by putting good people together is truly rewarding. Unfortunately, you don't make a living at it, but it's very, very rewarding.
Of course, Sally says, I'm glad that I found this show last week. Seriously, it came to me at the right time, Bill. We are on the same page. She yelled that at you just because you're old, I think. You're discussing very things that Tim, her husband, and I have considered, questioned, and want to know more about. Very excited to dive in. Great show. And yeah, absolutely. This show, if we went out there and said, hey, Bill's going to talk about finances.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about life insurance.
The mutual fund is made up of a series of...
There's a commercial out there, I think, what's the gal with Progressive or whatever, and then her sister calls her over. She's got the baby in the pouch in front of her, and the baby won't go to sleep. And she says, I need you to talk about insurance. And the baby falls right asleep. And she slams the door and says, thanks very much. Yeah, that's the reaction you get. And that's why I start off my conversations with when I speak to groups, and I say, look, there's two things I know spouses don't talk about: money and sex. And I'm here to help you with one of them. it's an eye opener because it kind of tells people, okay, maybe
so now we're
this won't be.
talking about sex.
Well, we can get there, Coach.
Okay.
But well, I don't know if you can, but we can get there. But again, you when you want to start a new business, so I know another gentleman reached out to me, church friend, reached out to me. His family's got a barbecue restaurants in Texas, and so he thinks it's in his blood. It's very easy. His passion is to open up a barbecue restaurant. At first, when I talked to him, I think years ago, he wanted like 300,000, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know how you're going to get it open for that, but okay. And now he was looking at more like 3 million because the property he was looking at in a local town of which I'm on the board of that chamber, he came to me and he said, well, they won't let me buy the property. He said, well, what money do you have to buy the property? Because I'm pretty sure you don't have any. And he doesn't. And he's thinking that this is all in good faith. His business plan to me, when I said I could I could probably help him raise some capital. But his business plan to me was an email. It wasn't anything that was well thought out or planned out. It was all about his passion. And I get that. And that's so very, very important to success when starting out a new business. However, let's make sure you understand emotion more often than not gets in the way. And doesn't help. Passion is wonderful because passion generally means, hopefully leads to good leadership, because you need good leadership too. Because if you start a business and all you're doing is blaming everybody else for everything that isn't going right, you're going to be a lonely person in no time. And so you need to learn how to help people grow. A good leader isn't somebody who tells people what to do. It helps people bring out the best in them and how they can do their job. I believe in that. I know you know a lot about leadership, Coach.
On days, and some days I feel like I'm the worst leader on the planet, and things just, and they will always fall apart around. And it's that ability. There was a study done on graduates from Harvard in 1985. In 1985, they took a look at, why did you go into the field you went into? Why did you the field of study? And most of them went into the field of study because they were told this is the current business trend. You need to go into this business because this is where you'll make money. Out of 20 years later, out of 100 people that were in the study, 99 of them had become millionaires. When they went back and looked at those 99, these were the ones who went into their field of study because it was their passion, not because it was their thing. And they went back and talked to the one, and he went into his field of study because he was told to, but 2 years after graduating, he went into his passion. Passion, I think, is a key ingredient to success.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, it can't be the only ingredient. There's a term, and I'm sure you're familiar with it in the financial industry, called due diligence. And your due diligence is simply taking the time to say, hey, this is my passion. Is it a viable business opportunity? And there are people who have turned the weirdest stuff into businesses.
I agree. And I love the due diligence part because that's so very important. Because if you're getting involved in a contract, let's say you're opening a restaurant and you're leasing out space, that contract is very, very important. And don't have your buddy who's a lawyer do the damn contract, because you need somebody who's in that field to check out the contract for you. Because I've known restaurant owners that have been crushed because of the poor contract that they got themselves into. Where they move into it, they lease into a space inside of, say, a strip mall, and the strip mall's been up 25 years. They move in a year later, the air conditioner goes out, right? And it's a $20,000 air conditioner that goes on the roof, right? And the business owner goes to the landlord and says, "Well, you're going to replace it?" No. In the contract, you replace it. Even though it's 25 years old, it's going to die. You didn't do due diligence, right? So you can get hurt on the back end if you don't do due diligence. And so that is so very, very important. And you're right. Passion is very important to have, but we all know that emotion can get us into trouble.
Mhm.
If we allow our emotions to control our actions, we're riding by the seat of our pants, and you're only going to last so long. You start up a new business. Look what's going on now with all these COVID tests, right? So now there's all these fake shops opening up for COVID tests. They're just popping up all over the city in Chicago, and they're charging. Not only are they charging fees, which it's supposed to be free, but they're charging fees, and they're actually charging extra fees if you want it expedited. You want the results expedited. That's an extra fee.
And they're just using
and they're not
pipe
coming back
cleaners
with,
that they
and
got
they're
at
not
5
coming back with,
below.
they're not even bringing results.
Yeah,
And,
you
and
have-
nobody knows where to go to find out how do I get my results, because they aren't there.
Right.
This is just a pop-up shop. They're gone the next day, and they're opening up 2 blocks later, somewhere else or some other part of the city. And we see this all the time. That's people chasing the almighty dollar. If you are only chasing the almighty dollar, good luck to you. I mean, I don't know how you'll ever be happy. I don't know how you'll ever be truly successful.
So one of the 7 habits.
And good morning, Julie.
One of the 7 habits of highly successful people is sharpen the saw. Right. So in other words, you always have to get better at your, what it is you're doing. How many people in the financial world? So, I'm working with your team. Just go, yeah, Bill's team's got it. I don't need to read. I don't need to learn. I don't need to sharpen the saw because Bill's team's got it. And is that a healthy way to work to build your millions?
Good answer, Bill.
I mean, with me it is, but
right.
No, it's not. I don't.
Right.
That's the part about wearing that top hat.
Yeah.
Is you are the one who really has to protect your backside more than anybody else. You can count on business partners, but I guarantee you open a restaurant up and you put your brother or sister in charge of the monies and stuff like that. I guarantee you, within a year or two, they're going to be stealing money from you.
Yeah,
because it's just too easy.
Oh yeah, too easy.
So you're the one who's really got to protect your own back, and that means watching out over things. We know in life, like you should every 3 years look at your home and auto insurance. Maybe get some other quotes. Maybe talk to some other people.
Yeah.
Not everybody is a perfect fit, or life happens, right?
Yeah.
Things change. Business grows. Business slows. Whatever direction it goes in, and it doesn't hurt to listen.
Well, yeah.
To other people. Biggest mistake business owners make. They think one mouth is worth more than 2 ears.
Yeah. I mean, 30 years ago, you were investing your money in malls, shopping malls. If you could own that property.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo,
right.
This ain't never going away.
Right. It's and we know that this world is much tighter. Planning out more than 5 years is a little bit futile.
Yeah.
A little bit waste of time. I mean, I guess you should put a little bit of thought into that. Yeah. But beyond 5 years, with the way technology is growing, changing the world, we're going to be the Jetsons, George Jetson, not too distant future here. But
so I'm going to go back to something Sally said a little bit earlier in the show, or you commented. Truth, you prep in the summer and store for the winter. Now she's talking about gardening, right?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, in a business, financially speaking, that's what you're doing. How do you anticipate, or how do you know when your winter is?
This is such new thinking that the fable of the grasshopper and the ant started talking about it 500 years ago.
Right.
The fable, yeah.
But the truth is, if you're not taking the time to take care of yourself, when you're young in business and you start a new job and they give you a 401k, you look at it and go, why do I need that? I want to spend my money. I want to party. I want to get a nice car.
Right.
I'll put the 3% in because that's what they match. When you can put up to 10% in and let it grow. And if that money's coming out before you see it, you'll learn how to survive.
See, and that's the grandpa way of thinking how to invest nowadays.
Correct.
That's not the efficient way to do it anymore.
Well, I didn't say
and it really
you
wasn't
manage
then
your
either,
401k yourself. You
still
hire someone to watch it.
I mean, that's all we had. in the 80s when 401ks came out, we got rid of pensions. That's all we had.
I still have a pension. Thank you very much.
I know. I how many times I get to tell you I'm jealous about that. And anyone who has a pension, but it does not mean it was an efficient practice. With a pension, the employer was responsible. With a 401k, the employee is responsible. So it is put back on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Which, okay, and not a bad thing. It should be on your shoulders. It's your life, how you choose to live it, and how you choose to save for retirement. But you talk about going into the winter months, and it's hard to farm. Well, you know what? There's a reason why farmers don't do a lot of farming in the winter, right? We slow down a little bit, we take a break, and because we need that energy. Small business owners have a very strong tendency to overwork, to put everything back into the business and not take anything out.
Push.
There's all these simple little things that business owners do that if they knew better, I think they could prove to be more successful in a shorter time frame. But the winter months, so you get close to retirement. Within 5 years of retirement, you better be talking to a professional because you got that 10-year window, 5 years before, 5 years after. If all of your money is still in that 401k or that Roth or those stocks, and the market does take that 50% hit, you've just completely changed the next 30 years of your life.
Yeah.
Because you did not plan or protect for life happening.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we're going to see that soon in the near future or even the next 10 years. I don't know that. I dropped
Bill
my crystal
Hussey
ball.
says the sky is falling. The sky is falling.
All right,
I had a crystal ball and I just can't find it.
So the truth is we don't know when our winter might hit.
We don't.
So how do I know if I'm storing enough?
Well, one type of investment in 401k is called target dating. So that's where you can invest in, say, if I'm 40 years old and I'm going to retire in 20 years, so I go out 20 years and the target date would be 2040, let's say, or 2045.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're invested in that kind of a product, as each year passes, a little bit more comes out of the riskier side, the investment stock side, and goes into that low risk side, bond side, or no risk side. Right. A little bit changes each year until when you're getting into that 2040 or 2045 target date, you're 70, 75, 80, 85% on the low risk bond side.
Yeah.
Now it's a great theory. It's a good concept.
It doesn't match the people.
But it doesn't match the way people are living lives
right.
and everything. And it doesn't match and account for things like when bonds are trading at 0.25%.
Yeah.
I have someone who's recently come to me and has a 9-month-old daughter. And she said, what kind of idea do you have in play for me to put money away and allow others like grandparents and stuff to put money into an account of some sort? And there's a couple of different solutions, but she was saying, I'm thinking a 529 plan.
But what's an innovative strategy for that?
Well, not a 529 plan.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. That's that's time has come and gone. Because we don't even know a 9-month-old, what's college going to look like in 18 years?
Will they make it to college?
Is it all going to be online?
1.4
Do they want to
million?
go to college?
Right.
Maybe they want to start their own business and be their own entrepreneur. Right. And now you got to pay penalties to get that money out
because it's not
for
going
that
towards
child to
education.
use.
Right.
So it's not the best. There are different strategies. If people want to know about them, they'll have to reach out to me because
And how did they get a hold of you, Bill?
Oh, well, they could reach out to me at bill@billhasse.com. So BILL@BILLHAASE.com. Or, of course, they can always come to 216thenet@gmail.com. Reach out to Kent, put innovative strategies in the subject line, and let us know because we do get emails different ways from different folks in different directions. And we answer everybody. And we try to I'm a believer that there's a solution for every problem. For every issue. And I also believe that if I can't find it, I know somebody who can.
Yeah.
And that is what drives me big time.
Yeah. The interesting thing is once you in your business or your financial strategy hit a goal, right?
Mhm.
And you feel good about it. It's interesting. So my wife and I, are doing pretty well, right?
Yeah.
We're not, we couldn't walk away from our jobs today and be okay, but we're like doing pretty well.
Hmm.
We had a real estate transaction, in December, and we're doing real well. The wonderful thing is, yeah, that I'm watching how we approach this is we've really approached it as if it never happened, and we're continuing to lead our life like it was. So a lot of times when you hit that goal, people celebrate, or we've heard of all the pro athletes or rock stars that pissed all their money away.
Well, what do you think is a goal? What do you call you know define
Yeah,
your
I
your
always go.
vision of a goal?
I always go watermarks, right? So dollar amounts,
Uh-huh.
right? So I'm like the financial advisor who says, "How much do you need to retire? Let me help you build it to that spot," right?
Yeah.
And so my goal at the end of this year is to have X amount in savings,
Mhm.
right? And
Savings.
well, when yeah, savings. That's exactly what it says in the goal, right? In
You
Is
savings.
that
might
a
want to you might
savings
want to talk to
account or
a
an investment account?
Yeah, no, it just says savings
in
as
a
much as
bank
savings,
savings account.
right? So, and I guess yeah,
We're gonna have to have a talk.
yeah. Well, that's fine, right? But I mean, that's I'm telling you what I wrote down on my
So let me give you a
goals.
little idea why we got to talk.
Yeah.
Last year, uh, inflation was 7%. Your
Hmm.
savings account is 0.001.
Actually, I got a little better one because I'm an employee of a bank.
All right, so
0.002.
let's
It's over
be
1%,
favorable and let's give them a
which is good.
1/4% return on
It's
that money.
1%. He said he knows
Oh,
what
It's
it
one
about
is.
percent. Okay,
it's about 1 1/4.
so you now you
Yeah.
lost 6% of the value of your
Yeah.
dollar last year.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out. So your buying power in the future is dramatically getting reduced. And now compound that number
Yeah.
over the years. So it's kind of like in my day back, little after the dinosaurs hit, our parents would buy bonds for kids, right?
Yeah.
We'd all get bonds, and then $50 bond, and then we're 24 years old, we're done with college and getting out in the world, and our parents give us the bonds to help us get started.
Yeah.
And you go to cash in that $50 bond, and it's worth $50.58.
Double E bond. Yeah. That's good.
Right? I mean, seriously, that was a good investment because I tell you what, in that 24 years, the value of the dollar has decreased dramatically. You made 58 cents.
Well,
But your buying power on that $50 is reduced.
well, when they bought it, they maybe bought it for $25.
Maybe
So now they doubled their money, perhaps.
they may.
Double their money, but probably
over
equal or less
over
on
the 15
purchase.
or 30 years.
I know, and it's hard to so that's one of the things most people don't think about financially is we think about buying power when we're going to travel to Europe,
Sure.
right? What's the rate of exchange?
Sure.
So we do think about buying power at that time, but we don't think about buying power in the terms of what I have today, what I'm trying to build in order
Right.
to
No,
be
I
in
know, I
retirement,
certainly
and
don't,
what
yeah.
what the value is going to be then.
Right.
What the power is going to be then.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you talk about, you say dollar mark, watermarks. You want to get to certain levels. Oftentimes, and one way that I work is, well, what type of income do you think you'll need in retirement?
Yeah.
And you got to think about it, right? What's the housing going to cost? What am I everyday living? And then,
Right.
and of course, my first 10 years, all I want to do is travel and have fun and everything else. And then I'll probably slow down and won't need as much money. Not true.
Right.
It just switches over to health issues and costs there.
Yeah.
But typically, so in retirement, you want to think about, okay, what kind of income do I need? All right. And then we work within the framework of the portfolio, and we determine how we can guarantee that, lock that in, so you never have to worry about it in retirement.
Yeah. Well, I've got.
And then you have the leftovers.
There's some other vehicles, right? But I know
Yes.
I know that if I can hit X amount in a savings account, that I've had a pretty successful year.
Yeah.
Right. That's not my only. What I'm saying is that's not
Yes.
my only.
It's a part of your portfolio.
Right. It's a part of the portfolio.
Yeah.
Right. But to me, if I can have that watermark, I've done well for the year.
Yeah. And
Right.
in advisor will tell you, you need about 6 months reserves.
Yeah.
To be safe. Now, historically, that's because we were working in a world where we could be fired at any moment. And or
Still
let
can.
go for any number of reasons or whatnot. And now the environment is you know what? I think I'm worth more money. You go to your boss, I think I'm worth more money. I need a $10 hour raise. Okay.
Right.
What? Done. But
What?
you don't get it if you don't ask.
Right, exactly.
See, historically, in our generation, we had to change jobs. We had to move from company to company to get a raise.
Yeah.
Well, to get a decent raise.
You can always get your 2%.
You can get your 1 to 3% by staying in the same place. But you got to be careful. It's just it's a whole different ballgame out there right now. And entrepreneurs, if you're talking about bringing people in, it's not going to be cheap. And running your own business and doing it properly is not inexpensive. It is not cheap. It does cost money. It does cost time. And then you keep putting in more and more and more time, and you keep taking the money coming in, and instead of paying yourself out, you put the money back into the business, and you get run down and ragged. You get tired, and then you start making poor decisions.
Yeah.
And poor decisions cost money. And they're hard lessons to learn, but that's typically how a lot of small business owners learn their lessons. We try to make decisions that we're not proficient at, as opposed to talking to experts, an advisor that can help us, make a better decision. But
we got about 10 minutes left.
Holy cow!
What have we accomplished in this hour? What do you
look to? So going forward, what I want to do is I'm going to bring on guests going forward in a variety of different capacities, but many of my guests will be people who will discuss issues and concerns and problems that small business owners have, and we'll discuss solutions.
Can I have their phone numbers so I can convince them to cancel on you?
I'll give that to you offline.
Okay.
I gave the number out once. I don't want to do that again. So the idea is going forward, we're going to bring some guests on here that are going to help you maybe tick something off in your mind that says, I got to get on that. I need to learn more about that. Or that's something I'm interested in. So we really want to help you all learn. And in the process, it's all about how does money work? How does it affect us in our world? Is all part of it. We're also going to do a series that I'm going to be doing that will include the amazingly, incredibly important topics and ones that everybody wants to talk about, and that is life insurance, long-term care, things like that. Yeah, isn't that exciting? But we're gonna do a series about that because it's so much more important right now, and especially when you think about it, there are people I'm learning that had COVID a year ago that are still having health issues.
That's right.
And I was not fully aware of that, whether it's aches and pains in the joints to having mental issues.
Yeah, it's a vicious thing.
So you look at it going forward. So is something like a long-term care policy something you might be interested in learning about? And not buying, but learning about it. And I can go into statistics and all that, but I'm not gonna. So I have a very high-level executive at One America that's going to join me in a series. It will come out about once a month, maybe once every 2 months, and do a little discussion about different aspects of things that you might want to put in your portfolio or have available to you in your portfolio, and why. So we'll take a few different directions, but folks, it's all about helping you understand how you can better yourself, better your position, getting you into the right position so that you can really appreciate and enjoy your retirement. And if you do want to retire before the age of 65, until the government in its infinite wisdom drops that Medicare down to about 62 years old, I'm hearing that's a possibility. You need to talk to somebody like Tim and Sally.
That's it.
Because the number one issue that people have by retiring early is the cost of insurance.
Yeah.
Health insurance.
Yeah. And the Santos Agency Health Markets on Green Street here in McHenry, some of the best. I've worked with them personally.
Yep, I have too.
Fantastic at what they do, and very, very pleased.
Yeah. I'm in a very fortunate situation that my Medicare, my supplemental is my military. care. So Tim understands that, but I have sent him so many people, and hard to handle people.
Yeah.
And Tim and Sally are so gentle and kind in their communication with people. They educate till people are ready to make a decision. They have all their information. Highly recommend it.
They seek first to understand.
And that's the thing.
Yep.
And whether it's in the health world, in the insurance world, in the investment world, we have to educate our clients because we aren't growing up learning this stuff.
Right. No.
You want to teach some good stuff in school. Start teaching about the world of finance, the world of money, the world of, and how we need to have these things in our life to protect us.
You get that in college if that's the area that you choose.
Yeah, when you're stoned to the bejesus and you aren't listening to class anyway.
Right,
I know, I get that. A funny thing driving in today, they were saying they're learning now that people from the 60s and 70s are still maintaining their drug habits.
Oh, really?
Imagine that.
So the people that are making the laws
who spent the money
legal.
on that,
Yeah.
That's another one of those.
Forget world peace. Let's make marijuana legal.
Well, and that's going to come up this year. I'll bet you anything.
Oh yeah,
I'll bet you anything that comes up this year federally.
And let's be honest. Let's be honest.
It was last year actually.
With a couple of things too is there. Innovative strategies isn't the shiniest thing or the squirrel to chase all the time. Right. And this last year, of course, the cryptocurrency, and hopefully we'll be speaking a little bit about that later on this year too. But that really has come on to the point too, where people are just like the pop-up COVID testing. Hey, here's my orange gun Bitcoin, whatever, and I make my own. People throw a lot of money at me, and I run. It's a Ponzi scheme basically, right? But there's so much. A lot of times those squirrels aren't innovative strategies at all.
No, most often they're not. After so in 2005, 2006, when I left the trading pits, I was the first one to ever do electronic pit trading side by side. I did pit trading and buying and selling on a computer at the same time. We saw the writing on the wall. So what happened was all these traders came out with these ideas, and they were starting to sell, hey, trade using my strategy. It works. And they were selling that all over the place.
All over.
And the reality is what? They do work.
Yeah.
The strategies do work, but they work for that person.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily mean it works for you, because we have what's called human intervention. We have emotions that come in, and we say, we can tweak this.
Yeah.
And we can make it and squeeze more money out of it, doing this and that. And that doesn't ever work.
Right.
That just opens Pandora's box to serious trouble. But, But
I think that's what's brilliant about you, Bill, is you're constantly sharpening the saw. I'm
a better student now than I ever was,
and that's what amazes me.
Before college,
yeah, that's what amazes me. And you bring up concepts on the show or ideas, and I go and fact check them, because I'm like, I don't know this guy, and that sharpens my saw as well. And I go, Jesus, he's right on. So I think it's amazing how much you continually sharpen the saw, and for people who are looking to work with Bill, be on the show or anything like that, just understand, this isn't this isn't your grandpa's podcast. This is a guy who does research, looks at things, and is able to tell you, one way or another, or say, what, I got somebody who's better at that than I am.
Grandpa's podcast was taking a pea pod, putting it over there, putting it over there, putting it over there. He didn't even know what the word podcast meant.
I don't know how long it takes you to grow up and finally admit the fact that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I do have a large amount of craving to learn more now than I ever have in my life.
Sure.
And different directions and in different things. And again, bringing the people that we have brought on this show, amazing folks, I learned so much from, and they're so amazing, because not only are they passionate about what they do, but they're extremely good at it.
Yeah.
And they know, they stay in their lanes. They know how to make it work. And these are entrepreneurs that have started businesses and done well. So if you want to learn from people who are successful, listen in.
Which is what you need to do right here, 21.6 The Net, of course.
Yeah, thanks for listening in today. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks for letting me hang out
filling
with
in,
you again.
and no offense, but I hope I have a guest next week. And
I hope you do too. That's the guests you do bring on have provided so much content for the listeners. 21.6, we get more and more people caught in the net because of shows like Innovative Strategies. So thank you.
Thank you.
For all of us here at 21.6 the Net, thanks for getting caught in the net with us. This has been Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. Again, check him out at www.billhasse.com. Subscribe, like, and follow all the social media. Please join us on YouTube at 21.6 the Net out there. We have our own YouTube channel. We'd love you to subscribe to that as well. Stick around because at 12:30 today, we've got questions you never thought you could ask in church.
Thanks so much.